Hey, good morning, everyone. How are you? It's a rainy day here in New York City, but I'm going to welcome you to my Friday morning show. So, today we're going to talk about labels. And I don't really like putting labels on people, and I don't like labels at all, but let's face it, we all do it. You know, Sue's a great listener. Betty, she's so happy all the time. And poor Sally, nothing ever goes right for her. Kate, she's so strong. Yeah, right, we do it. But before we dive in, I'm Mary Marino, and I'm a certified life and leadership coach. And I work with women who are struggling with change and feeling lost in transition, be empowered toward their new beginning. So today we're really going to dig in to what's holding you back. So fasten your seatbelts and stay tuned. And you know what? You can read more about me and what I do on my website, marymarinocoaching.com. And right there on the homepage, you'll find my ebook, How to Navigate Change and Manage Transitions in Life, the five essential steps to finding the new you. So this ebook, although it may be short, it's my expert tips on what you need, and it's absolutely free. You can download it when you enter your email, and you become part of my email community. And on my website, under the resource tab, of course, you'll find all of my Friday morning episodes. This is number 18, The Label Maker, and I'll be uploading it later today. So check it out, share it with anyone you think that might benefit. Anyway, and you know what? Before we get started, just a reminder that on Wednesday, March 4th at 7 p.m., I will be appearing in person at the Great Neck Library with my friend and colleague, Irene Tenenyan. Irene and I will be discussing what is consciousness and why it's important to you. And actually, today's discussion is kind of a preview. The event is free, so if you're local, I hope to see you there. I'll be posting all the information later this week, so stay tuned. And you know what? I'm available to come speak at your organization or group too, so that's really a big part of what I do as well. There's no charge, and I can speak for 15 minutes up to an hour. So you can message me through here on my Facebook page or, of course, on my website. So all this said, let's now talk about labels. Not only do we label each other, but through our experiences, thoughts, and perceptions, we label ourselves. So let me give you an example. I come from a big family. There were 6 of us, 4 girls and 2 boys. And I was the 4th in line. Not only was I the middle child, I was sandwiched between my 2 brothers. I experienced the typical middle child syndrome. So between my 2 brothers always getting in trouble for one thing or another, and the baby of the family needing a lot of attention, I basically flew under the radar. And so as you can imagine, there was always some drama going on with my brothers and sisters. And my siblings, so engrossed in always telling their stories, most times didn't even notice that I was in the room, making me the proverbial fly on the wall. And I listened intently to my older brothers and sisters, of course, and I knew everything that was going on. And so when there was an argument or a disagreement between them, guess what? I became the mediator. I would deliver messages from one to the other and tried very hard to find a solution and keep the peace. I guess you can say I found my own way to be heard and recognized. So don't misunderstand, this isn't a woe is me story. That's really not why I'm sharing it. I'm sharing it to illustrate how a label is created. So being a mediator, a problem solver, a negotiator served me really well during those formative years. I got the attention I craved, and I found a purpose. I felt needed, and it made me feel important. And over time, I became really good at it, and it was ultimately how I defined myself for many years to come. I was the problem solver throughout my adult life, both professionally and personally. Everyone came to me with their problems. And of course, there was always a problem to solve. And guess what? When there wasn't a problem, I looked for one. It became a way of life for me. And ultimately, it really came at a huge price because you see, it really wasn't who I was. I had created this label early on because it served a need at that time. Because it was not who I was, meaning I was not leading with integrity. It was really draining me. And so it became exhausting until I realized something had to change. I wasn't quite sure what to do or how to do it. I just knew I wasn't happy and hadn't been for a long time. And so I began my journey of self-exploration of who I really am. And when we think and we speak of ourselves, of who we often talk about what we do and the roles that we play in life, don't we? It's like we live in a jar. We put a label on that jar. And this is how people read us and how we read ourselves. So last week in episode 17, The Voice of Change, I talked about how the first step in managing change is awareness. And awareness comes when you start to unscrew the lid on your jar and you peer over the top to read what the label says. And then you decide if this is who you are and who you want to be. So understandably, this can be god-awful scary, especially if you've been wearing this label for years, right? It's like that label has been stuck on with super glue. For me, my whole life and even my career was about solving problems. As a director of operations, my job was to find solutions. So here I was divorced, just recovered from breast cancer, and now finding myself completely burnt out and no longer happy and unfulfilled in my career. I felt angry and even a little betrayed by my choices, if that makes sense. My label that had seemingly sustained me for so long, turns out, was sucking the life out of me. So I started to peel back the label and began to look at the list of ingredients on the back of my jar. The list I never bothered to read because I was too busy solving problems. So are you ready? Here's what I learned. That list of ingredients, those are the core values. Those are the strengths and those are the qualities that define us. The label is just the attitudes, the perceptions, and the beliefs we create from our experiences. We slap on those labels and they become the filter through which we view ourselves. And because we wear those labels so well, the world responds by reinforcing them for us. Mind-blowing, right? So what does your label say? Can you read it from inside the jar? Who's responsible for the ingredients inside? Have you given your power over to someone or something else to define you, like I did? You know what? Maybe your label reads problem solver too. Or maybe you're the rescuer, or the rebel, or the victim. Or maybe you're just coping. Yeah, that's a big one for us. So here's a question. What are you tolerating? I'm going to let you think about that one for a minute. So of course, these are just a few of the labels. There are many others, all of which, for a time, can really serve us in one way or another. Whether we know it or not, we always have a choice to pull from the vast list of our ingredients. It's how and when we tap into those ingredients that allows us to change and grow. So look, when you hire me as your coach, I will help you peel back your label and uncover the ingredients that are inside your jar. We'd start with the Energy Leadership Index Assessment, designed whether conscious or not, may be working for or against you. And from there, we come up with your personal empowering plan of action designed specifically to support you through the transition process and to finding your new you. So listen, if you've been here every week and following me every week, you may now be ready to get moving and take that first step. And you know, there's really only one way to find out. Go to the Contact Me page on my website, fill out the form. It's really easy. From there, I'll be in touch and we can have a relaxed conversation to see if coaching may be a good fit for you. Or maybe you know someone, maybe wife, sister, mother, daughter, coworker, or a friend who's feeling a little or maybe a lot stuck and ready for a change and not sure where or how to get started. So please share this video with them and of course my website. And of course, you're always welcome to message me here. So I want to thank you all who've joined me live here today. It's always great to see you. And to those who've watched on the replay, I appreciate you. So see you next week. Till then, live with intention, lead with integrity, and learn with inspiration. Bye-bye now. Have a great weekend.